Hello. So you didn't get a doing my makeup at work video for me this week because I didn't do one. I did do my makeup at work, but I didn't have a ton of time, blah, 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 you don't care. And so I thought, let me do my makeup now as I'm getting ready for work. I have a little bit of time. And I was thinking of using the Natasha Denona GLAM palette. This one is in dark. So there's a dark and there's a light. The palette comes with 5 eyeshadows, a blush, and a highlighter. And this came out a while ago. I haven't heard too many people talking about it since it came out. So I thought, why don't I, pull it back out and see if we still like it. So I'm going to go in with a bit of moisturizer first. This is the Radiant C cream from Laneige. Actually, I've been really enjoying a lot of their products. I do really like their lip sleeping mask. And I think I also have a moisturizer that I use in the evening from them. So I like to put this on first. And then what I put on top is the Photo Brightening Moisturizer from Perricone MD. That's what that looks like. Oh, you know what? Do you all know where I can get some good, compression packing cubes or whatever they're called? I'm thinking, I haven't used them before, but I think I need that. I did get my luggage, and it is gorgeous. Ugh, it's so pretty. It makes you want to travel. Now I'm going to go in a bit with this hydrating eye cream from First Aid Beauty. Just cause, does it look like I got enough sleep? I can't tell. Y'all, speaking of sleep, this past weekend, some of you who are in certain fields probably have to do this too. As a psychologist, you have to get continuing education credits. So that usually means, staying on top of what's going on in the field, making sure you're up on ethics. The past couple of years, there have been a lot of laws and different things around telehealth. So making sure you know that, because if you didn't know, your therapist has to be licensed in the place in which you live. So just making sure that you know all the things. So I decided, and this is what I do. I see something and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to sign up, right? And I need to stop because there are a few organizations that do webinars or presentations where I know I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm going in with the NYX Proof It eyeshadow primer. So I signed up for this one, and it's a psychoanalytic society, and psychoanalysis goes all the way back to Freud and everything, whom you've probably heard of. And it's not necessarily, psychoanalysis isn't necessarily known for being super, at the forefronts of diversity and inclusion. But I still like to learn different things, and I do use some psychoanalytic approaches with my clients and such or whatever. So I don't even remember the title of this. All I know is that it was on Saturday. So I sit down for the thing. I'm up, I'm at attention. It's a webinar, so I have, my lights on and everything, my computer. Y'all, that was possibly the most boring webinar I've ever attended. Oh, it was too much. It was so boring. Oh my God, I didn't know something could be that boring, but I found out on Saturday. So I'm going to take this BK Beauty 202 brush, and I'm going to go into, maybe I'll start with this shade here that says Crease, and then I might end up using this shade here called Smoke, but let's start with the Crease shade. So I don't even recall what the presentation was about, but it was this older man, and just because you're a good therapist, it doesn't mean that you're going to be a good, like, presenter. Lord knows I have learned that by watching other folks, and I say that because I'm a good presenter, like I know I am. But just, I was like the outreach coordinator for an organization for a college campus for like 9 years, so I know how to get up and talk and entertain and tell a story and give information and interact with the crowd. I know I do all that stuff, right? Child, when I tell you, this man was so boring. So I was sitting paying attention, and then at some point, despite having had coffee and everything, I went upstairs. I took my laptop, I went upstairs, and I laid down in the bed. Next thing I know, I'm waking up and the webinar is over. I fell asleep, y'all. I straight fell asleep. Like, knocked the F out. That's what I mean. It was so boring that I fell asleep. And here's why it was boring. The gentleman was literally just looking at a paper and reading everything on there. I don't know if it was an article he was reading to us or if it was like all of his notes. If those were his notes, he had to have spent a lot of time on that. So I apologize for falling asleep on you, sir. But like, even the screen, we were looking at his screensaver. You know how you can like share your screen? We were just looking at the background of his desktop, and he was just talking at us. And I was literally bored to sleep. He bored all the coffee out of me. Oh my Lord Jesus, they should never have him do anything ever again. Ever. Girl. Okay, so I used those two shades. Now I'm going to go in with this shade here, which is said to be designated for the outer corner, but you can use it however you want to. I'm going in with the 203 from BK Beauty. Just gonna tap that off a little bit. And I'm just gonna do something really simple today. I'm starting a bit later in the day, because my clients are later in the day going into the evening, and I don't really feel like putting on anything like super duper colorful. It's also rainy out, which is weird. You know what? I might take this palette with me when I go home, because I believe one sister is doing her, she's also doing her like new business photos and wants me to do her makeup. And I feel like this palette is just so versatile, and versatile in terms of if you want like a natural look. And my sisters, neither one of them wear much makeup. I wouldn't want to like overpower their faces with like, you know, some bold colors that I would wear, and then they come out looking crazy. But this might be a good palette to take. And then the one shade I haven't used is this transition shade. So I'm going to wipe off my brush and tap into that. And I'm going to put it a bit above that darker crease shade. And I'm just blending with like, I guess windshield wiper motions, like a fast windshield wiper. Like the rain is really coming down hard, so you like going for it, you know? Okay, really simple. Nothing too flashy today. I'm not feeling flashy this week. All right, so now we will go into the face. I think what I will do is I will use my, no I won't, yes I will. Yes, I will. I'm going to use my Dior face primer. I think I'm almost done with this. It's really hard to see though, just because of how the packaging is. I'm going to put a bit on my finger. There it is. And just rub it in a little bit. I kind of want to try that new Milk concealer. I want to try that. Like chances are I'm going to purchase the new Pat McGrath Mothership Celestial Nirvana, I think it's called. I know, right? I know. I always say wait for a sale and then I don't. But here's my reasoning. Like, I'm guessing some of y'all want to know what it looks like, and so I'm blaming it on you. Okay, so now that I have that on, I'm going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter. I just want to lighten things up a little bit, but I'm putting it because it has this sort of, it has like an orangey tint to it, like all her stuff seems to on me. So I'm putting it under my eyes just a bit to provide a bit of brightness. And I'm also putting it where I would typically put concealer. Actually, look at me putting stuff back where it's supposed to go. Winning. So I'm going to take this Sigma Concealer Kabuki brush, F79, and I'm just going to blend that out a little bit in the places that I put it. And I essentially put it where I want things to be a bit brighter. I'm saying all of this because I realize people like to know like what you're doing and why you're doing it, right? Is that okay? I don't know. I'm going to use the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation, and this is in the shade New Caledonia Deep 2. And look at that. I'm using it. I love it. And I'm going to shake this up because that's what the bottle says to do. And I'm taking this palette, this palette that I got probably from like some store. And I'm just going to pump a bit of the foundation onto the palette. Come on now. So I have a couple of pumps, and let me grab a brush. So I'm going to take the Anissa Beauty Pinnacle Foundation brush and tap into the foundation, and then I'm going to tap it I'm going to tap it on my face. I'm not going to go too under my eye because I am going to put concealer there, and I don't want to layer too many products under the eye just because like that's an area that creases. So I don't really want to put too many products under there to allow it even more of an opportunity to crease. Now with this brush, you can either pat things in or you can sort of buff like this. I kind of do a combination of everything. And usually when I'm trying to get around my mouth, I will go like this. Wait, this is pursing your lips. What's this? Pressing your lips together? I don't know. Tell me what that is. And then I'll just tap over that area. Now what I do next is usually concealer, and the one I'm working on finishing is this one from Cover FX. It is their Power Play Concealer, and this is in the shade Neutral Deep 3. So I'm gonna put some here. This kind of lifts the eye a little bit. And then we did put that Charlotte Tilbury on, but I'm just gonna put a little bit of concealer here. Also on my forehead, so I'm putting it also on the chin, areas where I want a bit more brightness, and that's usually sort of like the middle of the face. And now I'm gonna go ahead and blend out my concealer. Do I have a concealer brush? I think it's in my work bag. So I'm gonna go back in with that Sigma Concealer Kabuki F79 and start to blend. And by blending, I'm just really patting ma'am. This cat. This y'all cat, okay? That's y'all cat. Just patting everything in. The concealer is like a couple shades, maybe like 2, if that, 1 to 2 shades lighter than my foundation shade, just to provide that brightness and that lift. Rose, don't try to run outside today because it's raining. I'm not chasing after you, Bolt. Stop that. I'm gonna go in with the Pat McGrath Under Eye Setting Powder, and this is in the yellow shade. And I'm taking this Linda Hallberg Cosmetic Sponge, pressing into the powder, and then just pressing the powder wherever I put the concealer, because that's gonna set it. And even though it says under eye, I just use it wherever I put the concealer, just to give it a bit more lasting power and to hopefully prevent some creasing. Putting it on my nose. And then what I'm going to do is take some of my Laura Mercier setting powder. This is Translucent Honey. Excuse me, ma'am. And I'm taking that same Linda Hallberg, pressing into the loose powder, tapping it off a bit, and then just setting my whole face. Now I do this because I have oily skin, and setting your makeup helps it to stay on just a little bit longer, kind of setting it in place. So I'm gonna let that sit for a second while I choose a bronzer, because we have blush in there. Okay, so the bronzer I'm going to use is the Colored Rain bronzer in Naughty Spice. Rose, can you open this? Can you open this? No. You're not helpful. We have to find a role for you here. No, man. And I'm taking this Sonia G Face Pro brush, tapping into the bronzer, and I'm just going to put it sort of right at the cheekbone. Now let's pop back into the GLAM face palette, and I'm going to use the blush. Now the blush is a cream blush, so this is the brush that I tend to use with cream blushes, and that is the BK 106, BK Beauty 106. So I'm going to tap into that blush And I'm starting a little higher, sort of on my cheekbone here, and just tapping the blush onto my cheeks. Bring it down a little bit. And even though I don't typically wear highlighter that much, I'm still gonna go back into the face palette and I'm going to grab the highlighter, and I'm just gonna use a finger to brush across the highlighter, and I'm gonna tap it a little bit on top of the blush, kind of at the higher points of my cheeks. But I'm doing very lightly because I don't enjoy highlighter a ton. And going to finish everything off with mascara. This is the Lorac Holy Lash Mascara. I've been enjoying it. Now what I'm going to do is to place the brush at the bottom of my lashes, where the lash meets the lash band line. But I'm going to focus most of it on the outer corner. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to create that sort of elongated look without using false lashes. So I'm going to put more coats of mascara on the outer part. Does that make sense? So you can see there's a bit more of a right there than on the other eye. Okay, so I'm going to go in with this lip liner from LA Girl in the shade Chocolate and line my lips. I just follow my lip line, really. And this is to help the lipstick kind of not bleed onto all over my mouth, because I'm also often drinking water or tea or something during my sessions like a proper psychologist. And we don't want that to be all over the place. And I'm going in with this Colored Rain lipstick in the shade Lotus. You can see that color. It's sort of like a brownish pinky, kind of like a nude, really, just with a bit more pink to it. Like if I kissed a rose or something. And I want to deepen it a little bit, so going back in with the lip liner that I need to sharpen. And I have just enough time to fill my water bottle. Take this out. I ended up doing my hair a little longer than I had planned to, but what ifs. So, give myself just a little more powder. Started to get a little hot under the lights. And there we go. Here is the look with the Natasha Denona Glam face palette in dark. I used everything in here. Still a really good palette for if you don't want to put too much thought into stuff, you want something sort of quick and easy, and you've got all your things in here that you need outside of a bronzer or a contour. I think it's still really good. And the dark one, as you can see, does show up on deeper skin tones. So let me know how you're doing, and I get to see my business photos tomorrow. Ooh, like pray to everybody that they come out good. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Let me know how you're doing that. I don't have nothing to tell you about how I'm taking care of myself because I'm slipping. So we got to do something about that. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Anyways, hopefully some of this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.